My name is Olubumi Adewale Babatunde. I started this channel for several reasons, but I'll tell you the very first one. The reason being, I am concerned about us women. I'm concerned about the things we go through, whether they are things which we overcome or not. I'm concerned about us actually growing into wholeness, completeness. I think I should call it that. Completeness, no matter what the challenges might be, growing to a state where we are not just churning out and caring for others, but then we are fully nurtured. I call my motto nurturing the nurturers. It's interesting because all women are nurturers. It's just how God has made us. There are several unique things about a woman that you might find some in the men, but not per se. So really just know we have it in abundance. Unfortunately, some people don't. So then you have problems arising, questions arising. Some people actually look at a woman and feel, oh, she's stoic and what have you. Sometimes it's simply because of the experiences she has had, the worries she has had to bear, concerns that have just weighed her down. I'm going to be doing several topics, very many topics, and I just want that situation where a woman feels nurtured. She doesn't just wake up in the morning and thinks, okay, let me nurture others, help others, solve the problems of others, and then her own life seems in shambles and remains that way. People feel, oh, she's functional, that's good enough, she's functional. No, it's not good enough. There's a lot more to us, and if we're not whole, we do not give good produce. We just don't. Over time, we drain ourselves out. The topic I took today is a topic I call mother-daughter bond, restoring the bond actually. Many of us know we want good relationships with our mothers. We want good relationships with our daughters. We look at it and we feel, what have we done? Some turn out just always fighting, especially from the teen years. Fight today, fight tomorrow, no communication for a whole 3 4 days, and just it continues in that manner. Sometime along the way, the young woman may decide, okay, I can't keep fighting with mother, so what will I do? I will ignore her altogether. The woman too keeps looking, this girl is going to ruin herself. What do I do? What do I do? Some mothers truly don't have much to offer because they have gone through so much and they didn't heal. They didn't heal. So, like I said, restoring the bond is what I want. We all know there are some bad situations, very bad. We call it irrevocably bad. But we know through God, solutions come. Jesus breathes his breath of life. The Holy Spirit takes charge, gives wisdom. Do it this way, do it that way. And who knows, something can be restored, things can be salvaged. So, like I said, we're restoring the mother daughter bond. I love the relationship between mothers and daughters because while yes, they are two distinct individuals, two distinct generations, they are still two women from the same source, the same root. DNA wise, they come from the same root and they will keep coming from the same root whether they like each other or not. So these are things that are very important. And the stories, the past, the history the mother has can actually affect or influence the daughter. I don't know if you've heard stories of people who their mother fought so. I'm saying, for example, you hear of a lady whose mother had children for four different men. She started having children as early as age 14. Maybe she was violated, raped, or something. She didn't like the experience. She had her maybe first daughter. That rape produced the first daughter, and that continued. Along the way, the same daughter who she produced out of rape, it hurt her, it broke her, it almost ruined her life. You expect that she will be able to guide that daughter away from away from experiencing the same. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. You hear very soon something else happened. She's raped. So it becomes like a generational curse. Yes, it actually can be. But sometimes it may go beyond that. What God does by coming into the situation, healing the situation from the mother's generation, can really break the cord from it ending up in the child's generation. So I'm simply saying there is hope. There is hope. Let's try and mend the walls. My discussion today may not be too elaborate. I'm going to make it short, but I'm going to say a few things. The first life coach a daughter should have, jokes apart, the first life coach she should have is her mother. It has to be her mother. I know some mothers are not equipped. but I'm trying to at least explain that it is crucial that her mother play that role, especially a mother who loves God, who has gone through rough times, has won the battles. She has a lot to share. The same battles may not be what her daughter goes through, but then wisdom. She's able to say, this could possibly happen. Oh, this may possibly happen. This is how God saved me from this. Oh, this way, that way. Or it may even be the exposure about the culture in which they live in. You may live in a different world. Maybe your mother was born somewhere in Ghana, she's Ghanaian, that's her culture, that's what she knows. She takes you, maybe before you were born even, she had relocated to a place like the US, the UK, Australia, or what have you, but you're still African. You're still black. If you were white, it's the same thing. Maybe your parents took you from wherever, you're Caucasian, whatever race, you still have that particular identity. You could be someone whose parents gave birth to all their children in Nigeria, but you actually know that your root is Canadian. You still have that trace, you still have those lessons to learn. So please don't look at your mother and say, no, you're relevant only for your generation. My generation has gone beyond this. No, you may not apply all these methods, the culture, the reasoning, the mindset of her own day and time, but you can at least sit down, pick from it, find those which are useful and helpful for man and helpful for your relationship with God, and run with it. So please don't shut her out, except if there's some things else which you just know may prevent that. And let me go down to that. There are some things which you see in the life of a mother-daughter relationship that tells you this is toxic. Run. I understand. I do understand. Not because my mother is like that. No, 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 no. My mom isn't like that. Growing up, my mom and I had our battles. We have two different personalities. I'm on the boisterous side, vocal, you know, I'm there. She maybe not. She's a bit on the reserved, calculative side. But I learned the calculativeness from her. I sat down and started to learn, oh, there's strategy to life. There's strategy. I learned things from my dad too. God bless the two of them. They are alive. I'm not saying as if they are dead. They're very much alive. I thank God for their lives. Okay. But there's things I'm saying I have observed, I have read, I've had to deal with in counseling with people, and I hear these true life stories, stories you cannot deny. Stories of things which, as you're listening to it as a counselor, you're holding back the tears because you know this is life. It is real. So like I said, there's some traces you may find with that may not be the best. For instance, if you have a mother who is unavailable, physically unavailable or emotionally unavailable. I won't go down to the stories of what maybe they had gone through that caused that to happen. But an imprint has been left in her, and maybe her attachment theory is just whacked. Dysfunctional, excuse me. So if she's unavailable emotionally or physically, that is not funny. The child keeps yearning, the daughter keeps yearning day by day. Experiences where she expects her mother to rise to the rescue or probably give advice or nurture or help comfort her or what have you. No, she doesn't. That is not funny. Or maybe the mother is combative. It's funny. You can imagine a mother being combative to her child. She bore this child. She knows this child inside out. But rather than spend time to nurture her, teach her, coach her, guide her, train her, she feels it's just combat. Everything. Before you say two things, you realize, oh, she hasn't done my daughter hasn't done what I want. Next thing you go with words of, maybe when the child was younger, it was beaten. And now it goes beyond beating. It's just, okay, words that you know will hurt, will repress the child, and that way you have your way. That's not wise. And so you have that kind of experience. I wouldn't blame a girl who feels, I better run. Or maybe the woman is simply self-involved. That's like self-love to an extent that doesn't have accountability. She's always thinking of herself. She's always thinking of herself. Oh yes, this can pay me, so let me use my child. There have been horrible stories, so horrific, that you hear of a mother selling off her child into immorality or into slave trade or something else for her own good. Some very bad stories. You hear stories of a mother who said, oh, this man came and said, oh, he give me this amount of money, and she looks and says, we've been dealing with poverty. This man may not be trustworthy. My daughter may most likely go through a hellish situation, but no, let her go. So she's so self-involved, self-absorbed. She doesn't care. It's always her, her, her. She's like a person who has aged but hasn't grown with respect to maturity. That is not healthy. Or someone who is dismissive. That for me is very ugly. I've had situations where I had to observe it in Nigeria, or let me put it around the West, the way we talk when such things happen, or when the woman behaves in that manner, you hear things like, Fimilejo, the child wants to speak to you. Let me rest, let me rest. Everything. I have given you food, what is left? Fimilejo means leave me alone, please. And the funny thing with such a situation is, there are some conversations a child will have with her mother that she wouldn't start the conversation with a formal heading. Mother, I want to discuss the fact that someone tried molesting me today. No. They come either informally or based on trust. So if your child doesn't feel they can trust you, just know there's trouble. And you created the tension. Dismissive, it's as if the child's emotions don't matter. The child, some of them, what they do is they start calling the daughter drama queen. She, yes, might be far more expressive emotionally than you are as a mother, but don't expect your child to be exactly like you. Remember that she had her father's personality in the equation that formed her. So don't expect her to be exactly like you. You had your parents, that way, that twin creation. That way, she too has your husband or partner or whoever is the father of your child. That was put into the whole equation. So keep calm. Don't expect her to be exactly like you. And let's not lie, you are not perfect. None of us is perfect. We all learn from each other. We have strengths, we have weaknesses. Okay. So there may be many things. Or a controlling mother. That's another one. The person already has a plan for how the child's life should be. Some people are so controlling that the child's future is already planned. She has to be an architect. I had this dream when I was younger that I was going to be an architect, but I couldn't do a degree course in architecture, so I did something else, and I'm just not pleased. So I feel, yes, my daughter should be an architect, and I keep pushing her on architecture. The child is saying, I want to do something more artistic. You just don't listen. It doesn't work. You control, you kill the child's sense of discretion, the child's sense of confidence and self-worth. The child will go into life, find himself in some situations, and would be more or less looking for you. You will feel, oh, it shows how relevant I am. No, it only shows how badly you have trained that child. A child should grow to a stage where mother, daughter, mother, father, wherever, just know he's fine, she's fine, she can take care of herself. I have taught her the right principles of life. Okay, then a few more. And then maybe let's say, for instance, she's unmeshed, or she's unreliable, or she's role reserved. She has reserved the roles, not that she's role reserved. She has reserved the roles. That's very possible. Where instead of her being the mother, she's always needy. So before long, the child feels, okay, let me care for my mother. It's my duty and what have you. There's a time for that. When our parents are old or maybe very sick, or have gone through one thing or the other, yes, we rise to the rescue by God's grace and help them through it. But not that the child is 6, 7 years old, and here it is, the mother is like, I know, I'm just depressed. No, I won't take you to school yet. And then the child feels, okay, I'll get up, do all the chores in the house and go. 6-year-old. And you're telling her, no, I'm training her. Eh. Keep your lies to yourself. Don't deceive anybody else. Deceive yourself and stop it at that. Who are you training? A child of 5, 6, and you're making her be the mother of the house? That's not training. That is real abuse. Okay. So going down, I think I should just rush on to the issue of yes, I should rush down to the issue of the need to restore the bond, to heal the bond. I have a few suggestions. First, I would say there are some other things I'll get to discuss at another broadcast, but let me just say this. Um, It's so necessary that the bond be restored. However, if you do find that it is probably impossible, what I'll plead for is this: the Bible teaches honor and love. Honor your father and mother. Please love them, even if she, quote and unquote, is undeserving. You ask, why do I? Part of what I have learned in life is who we become is not a function of what we just dreamed in our heads and just, it's a process of molding. The decisions we make along the way and manner in which we handle things, challenges, and some even very upsetting situations. The decisions we make actually mold and imprint some things in us. So you have a mother who is not treating you right, it's just not the right thing. I agree. I commiserate with you, I empathize, but please, for your own health's sake, forgive. Ask God for the strength, the grace, the wisdom to forgive, the power from on high to forgive. That is one. Two is, even if it means loving her from a distance. I know it sounds funny. Sometimes you need to love from a distance. Sometimes the fact that the person has so much access to you is like the person keeps pouring poison. Some people are very cynical. I know people who, there's nothing you can do. Even something like so creative that the whole world is shouting, wow, you did that. How did your mind produce that? People, I'm saying professionals in different fields, people who have studied and exposed and whatever you are telling you, wonderful. Dear mother comes and says, what is that? What did you think you were achieving? Oh, I've seen a lot more. But she didn't do a lot more. So you can imagine something that repressive, and it's just not right. So I'm saying there are some people who you just don't keep too close. Not because you don't want to love them, but because you know that in opening your heart to them, you could really get hurt. And some wounds are not easy to heal, especially emotional wounds. So I would request, find a way. Ensure you make it a duty, even if it's on your budget every week or every month, depending on how you make your income. You send a certain sum to her. You ensure you care. She may not, you may want to call a few times, or if you know that even on phone she may attack you or something, maybe she's the very insultive type, no problem. You find a way, maybe once, instead of calling once in every 2 days, you call once a week. You get some conversation with her. It shows, it's like sowing a seed of I care. You may doubt it, or you may choose to pretend that you doubt it, but you and I know I care. You make way, help if it's medical expenses or caring for living expenses, whatever way you can. Please do. You're sowing a seed into your own future and you're breaking curses. You are declaring that God, even if a person will pay me back with evil, I will not produce evil. Bible talks about offense and it says that offense will always come. But woe to him through whom it comes. Let it not come through you. Let it, if it is her, okay, no problem. If it is her, no problem. But God will give you the strength that you do not then sow seeds that your own children now repay you with. No. Sow seeds of good. Sow them. Make effort. Okay, so like I said, love and honor. If no other theme survives this talk I've said, remember those: love and honor. Two is, I'll ask that you try and understand expectations from both sides. What you expect of her, what she expects of you. It's really helpful. It clears the air. Sometimes it's not verbalized, and sometimes you may just have to be the one to sit her down or make some inquiries. And even in sitting down, you have to probe. Be patient. The reaction you may get may not be someone who has learned to be calm, but the reaction you may get may not be something you expected to have. But take your time to find out expectations both ways. Now, those which you can meet in good, I'm saying with a good heart that you know is not beyond you to meet, please meet. Those which you know probably you can't yet, okay, don't bemoan it. Give your best to what you can do. And then what expectations you have of her, you may have to tell her. Say, for instance, there are some unique things happening in your life. Maybe you just finished your PhD. You expect her to be in attendance at the program. That would really make you glad because you thought you were going to be honoring her and what have you. But you didn't verbalize it. You already know she has a dysfunctional approach. Tell her. before the day. Mother, I would really love it if you're around. This is the time of the program. Should I arrange for someone to come? Should I arrange for someone to come with you? Maybe she's a person who doesn't like being in public, but the way she goes about it is to just shut out the whole idea. Discuss all those and plan. Okay. Then another thing is ask about the source of her pain. I'm putting the work on you, the daughter, because I feel it may simply help. As a young person, you still have more years to live, and it may help you even with your own daughters. Find out the source of her pain. Sometimes the pain is so deep and dark that she would probably have an ab reaction while telling you the experience, so she just doesn't want to tell you. But you may be able to sit down, find out, make inquiries, investigate, know the source of that pain. Sometimes the fact that you understand the source helps you to be able to identify with, if need be, or to at least empathize with her. Show her you understand. There are times when she will talk, she will scream, she would say things that you really, a mother shouldn't be sounding this way, but there's a reason. She doesn't want to sound that way. There's a reason. Make inquiries. And somehow, because you can help her now, you can show that you care. It may help her to at least back down on feeling that maybe you're one of those she should attack. Another thing is you need peace of mind. So I would ask that you find a way to work it out. Find a way. It may take some effort on your part, but just like I'm trying to say, it's a bond that needs to be created, or if not, let it heal. Let the wounds heal for your own health and sake, for your own total well-being, for the sake of you being whole. Please make effort. And then one more reason is the next generation. The next generation matters a lot. It matters a lot. I am saying, don't care only about yourself. Care about the next generation. Otherwise, your mother's pain and bitterness sowed seeds of pain and bitterness in you, and then you go back and pour it on into your own children. So what have you achieved? You spent maybe your first 15, 20 years of life complaining about things your mother was doing that you didn't like. Now you want your own children to spend the next 30, 40 years of their own life complaining about you and your own mother. Probably they get to meet her own generation. She hasn't left the earth. Consider all that. There might be a way to change it. Because unfortunately then your children complain, but because they haven't seen correction mirrored, they haven't seen anything healthier mirrored to them, they just go ahead and reproduce it, and it becomes a generational thing. To what end? Please make the effort. Make the effort. I will leave you at this, but I will say there's power in choices. Your choice to say, I will try and heal this situation, is powerful. Just your will. It helps you. It's like it sets you on the right trajectory. Maybe before you were focused here, and here it was always like it seemed hopeless, no hope, no good is coming out of this. But then you get to move, and you see that okay, probably there's a ray of sunlight, probably there is, and then you make effort. So please make the decision. It's for your good. It's for the good of the generation before you and the generations coming after you. Bless you, bless you. I'm glad you listened. Please subscribe. Be one of those who will get my broadcast immediately it comes in. Please like it, share, tell people. My name is Olubunmi Adewole Babatunde. I am a Yoruba woman and I'm happy to be. Bless you.